Good evening and welcome to another edition of Sports Salsa. I am your host, Herbert Quinones, y bienvenidos a otra presentación de Sports Salsa. Yo soy su locutor, Heriberto Quiñones, and tonight, you know what, we'll begin by first of all wishing everyone happy holidays. And it's funny how life works out. I originally had someone else scheduled for this evening, and unfortunately they weren't able to make it. So at the last minute, we were able to reach out to another talent. And it's funny how things work out because there's a film out right now called The Wrestler, starring Mickey Rourke and Marisa Tomei. And this evening, we have for you, ladies and gentlemen, a professional wrestler, Mr. Benjamin Garcia. Benji, bienvenido, brother. Thank you for coming, bro. Especially on such short notice.
No problem.
All right, so Pa, wrestling. I mean, you're a real professional wrestler.
Yes, I am. Yes,
All right, so one of the things that we try to do here on Sports Center, una de las cosas que queremos hacer es tratar de educar al pueblo, en particular los jóvenes, and particularly the young kids. So, you know, the first question is, well, how did you get involved in professional wrestling?
Well, I got involved because I was born in the Bronx, and I used to watch wrestling a lot with my sister. And I used to go to Madison Square Garden once in a while. And, you know, I moved to Puerto Rico in the year '87.
Okay.
My mother and my father moved down there. And I was always interested, and I was always talking about wrestling.
Yeah.
And did you see wrestling? And I would go to my friends and, you know, slap them around once in a while. And, you know, I used to paint my face when I was little and put on capes and a few
Yo,
stuff.
like a lot of us.
Exactly.
I mean, I grew up, you know, I grew up, I'm a little older than you, but I grew up on Lucha Libre.
Yes.
You know, Chief J. Strongbow, oh my God,
Dusty Rhodes,
Toro Tanaka.
Tanaka,
Right.
the Ofensica.
Exactly, Fantasma,
yes, Fantasma.
you know, with the mask and stuff. So, you know, but as a little kid, but I outgrew that.
Yeah.
So you were like the little kid running around with the towel wrapped around his neck, jumping on the bed, being annoying to everybody.
And the funny thing is, you are little, and when you get into the business, it's a dream you're living. You live it every second. You know what I'm saying? And when you become a character and you're in the business, you think of the days back when you put on, you know, the little towel and you wrapped it around your neck and you painted your face.
Right.
And it's good, you know.
But now you're getting paid for it.
But now, you know, it's different. You get paid for it and you get your opportunities and you got to go up a ladder.
Right.
You know, it's a lot of work, but it's very
So let's
good.
go with, like, you know, how did you first, you know, make your entry into professional wrestling? You know, did you go to school for this? I mean, what were you doing at that particular point in your life and you go, yo, I'm going to go ahead and wrestle?
Yeah, well, at that particular point in my life, I was going to school. I was taking a refrigeration class where you fix, you know, neveras.
Exactly, and this is in Puerto Rico.
And this is, yes, in Puerto
Ponce,
Rico.
was it?
No, it was in a place called Patillas.
Patillas, okay.
Yeah, I'm from Guayama. Patilla is like 15 minutes away from Guayama, and Ponce is like a half an hour, 45 minutes away from Guayama.
So, Pa, you're a Jíbaro.
Yes, yes. I have a little bit of Jíbaro blood in me, yes, I do.
Okay. All right, so you're living in Patillas, right? You know, your folks, you know, go back home, God bless them.
Yes.
Okay, and you're at refrigeration school.
Yes.
All right, so how do we make the leap from refrigeration school to your first wrestling gig? ¿Cómo eso pasó?
Bueno, en este momento pues, yo estaba cogiendo respiración, como dije, y siempre estaba hablando de las luchas, y ya lo viste las luchas, que si esto, y...
¿Eres un fanático?
Exacto, un fanático. Entonces, uno de los maestros, one of the teachers that were there, told me, you know, you're always talking about wrestling, you're always beating people up and pinning people against the walls and saying you're a wrestler and all that stuff, and I know somebody who has a company. So,
wow, a wrestling company.
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay.
So then it clicked real quick. I said, you know what? I'm gonna go do it. I'm gonna learn how to do it. I've always wanted to do it since I was little, and I went on a Thursday. I learned the 4 basic moves, which are falling moves. You learn how to fall so you don't injure yourself that much. I practiced in my house on my mattress. I pulled down my mattress on the floor. I did my 4 basic moves, and Saturday they had a show.
Right.
So they called me up to see if I wanted to, you know, see what it was about, and So I went to Kmart thinking ahead, and me compré unos pantaloncitos, una camisita, you know, so they could match. Y me fui y él estaba buscando un luchador porque no le llegaron un par de luchadores y tenía 2 o 3 luchas pues que no podía llenar. Y pues yo, como siempre, I told him, I said, listen, you know, I know a little bit about wrestling. If you want to put me in there, he could beat me up, he could do whatever he wants, you know, but, you know, I'll do the job for you. And, you know, that day it all started.
Right. Now, Pa, you used an interesting word. You said they were going to, you know, do a show.
Yes.
So, come on, Pa, is wrestling, is it sport or is it, you know, fake? Is it entertainment?
Yeah, it's a sport. It's entertainment. It's bloody. It's hurtful. It's all those things rolled in one. You know, it's.
So there is some athleticism to it.
Yes.
I mean, there is some sport to it.
Yes, you have to have, you know, good health. You gotta, you know, it's a lot of thinking.
Okay.
You gotta always,
really? Come on now.
Yeah,
wrestling, come on. By thinking?
You gotta be.
It's the SATs,
you
bro.
You gotta prepare yourself for anything that might happen. You can get hurt at any moment. So, you know, that's why they teach you, you know, the basic moves.
Okay.
So then you know how to protect yourself and you know how to, you know,
okay.
do
All
what
right.
you gotta do.
So you're 18 years old, estás estudiando refrigeración en
Yes.
Puerto Rico y llega a tu primera, you know, presentación, tu primera pelea. Okay. ¿Qué fue el próximo paso? What happened after your first fight? Your first match?
Yeah, después de mi primera lucha, you know, I went home y pensando y lucido, tú sabes.
Right, Pa, did you win or lose?
I lost.
Okay.
I lost. You know, I went home, I thought about it, I said, yo, I got my first wrestling match, and, you know, I went crazy because it's something I've always liked. And, you know, I started calling him. I called him the next day to find out how I did, and he said, well, he beat you up, but, you know, you did very good, and for your first time, you look pretty good. You just need a little bit more practice.
Okay.
And, you know, they had a little facility where they went and tenían como el ring y el ring estaba puesto en una montaña que si tú te tirabas para afuera te dabas con piedras y un montón de cosas.
Wow.
Era lo que nosotros decimos pues ghetto por ahí. You know, you have a little area where you just go and throw
flaco
yourself.
Production, no había dinero.
Yeah, no había dinero. You just put up a ring, and we actually started off with a ring where we put the 4 corners of the ring was trees.
Wow.
And then from those trees we put on a floor, and then, you know, the wrestling mat has a little cushion, like a little cushion where it just protects you for a little bit because you're on wood and steel, because that's what the ring is made of.
Okay.
So you have a little protection. But when we started practicing, I didn't have that protection. We were in a, you know, cuchi frito little ring, and it hurt a lot. But you know, I kept going. I kept pushing for it, and you gotta want it. You know, it's a business, or it's a hard business. You travel a lot, and you know.
Right. So let's talk about that a little bit. All right. So you do your first match.
Yes.
He obviously calls you back. Okay. And so it's kind of like, you know, like I'm a comedian. Okay. And you know, you call a club. Hopefully, you go and audition. They like your work. And then you call them back and they give you more spots, more comedy spots. Comedy spots leads to out-of-town gigs. Is it similar to that? You do like the matches locally in Patillas.
Yes.
Y después, you know, la semana que viene te encuentras en San Juan or en Mayagüez, and you know, you move up to the big time.
Yes.
Okay.
That's exactly how it is. You know, you start off slow. You start off with a small company usually, because there's I'd say around the world there's thousands.
Right. Talk about that. So they're wrestling companies.
Yes.
Okay, like obviously, you know, I'm thinking, I'm not a big wrestling fan anymore, but is it WWF?
Yeah,
you know, Vince McMahon and them?
WWF is like what Major League Baseball is to baseball. It's prime time, and that's where you strive to go.
Okay.
You know, that you want to be in WWE. But
now you said WWE, isn't it WWF?
Well, the WWE changed its name from WWF to WWE because there was, I don't know if you know, there was a company out there called the World Wildlife Federation.
No.
So they had the same initials.
Right, WWF.
So, you know,
okay.
WWE since they put it on after they did,
Right.
you know, they had to change their name.
Ah, wow,
But
that's interesting.
WWE is the main company. It's major. It's what we call the major leagues of wrestling.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so now if the WWF is the major leagues, where are you right now? Are you like in the minors, or you like AA, AAA, to use the baseball metaphor?
Yes. Well, like you said, in baseball, you know, you go double A at the A ball.
Right.
You go double A ball, then triple A, then
Exactly.
major leagues,
Right.
and you work your way up. Right now, if I was to use terms of baseball, I'm in about, let's say, the double A league.
Okay.
I wrestle for a company in Brooklyn. It's owned by a Hall of Famer. His name is Johnny Rods.
All right.
He used to wrestle for the WWF
Back in the day. Okay.
I like 50s, 60s.
Wow.
You know, and he's a Hall of Famer, and I'm learning from him, and he has a school in Brooklyn.
Wow, okay.
And, you know, you work your way up. You work your way up in a school, and from there, you know, you could get bookings and some other stuff in other companies.
Pero vamos a decir, ya hay un joven allá, you know, because now hasta las muchachas están en la cosa de wrestling.
Yes.
Right, so it doesn't matter, you know, you could be a boy or girl, you know. And so, let's say they're watching you now and go, wow, I want to become a professional wrestler. ¿Qué es el próximo paso para ellos? Like, they're these schools.
Yes.
Okay.
El próximo paso, well, you know, you start off first by finding out where there's a school. Usually now you have to go to a school so you could get recognition. Like I said,
and to learn the techniques, right? There's different techniques.
Exactly, to learn the techniques. Because wrestling is wrestling. It's Greco-Roman wrestling, but they put an entertainment factor into it to get reaction from people. And the next step is to find out if you really want it. You really gotta want it. It's a tough business.
Okay.
You gotta want it. Check out your schools. There's plenty of schools. There's schools in Philadelphia. There's schools in Florida.
Right. And here in New York,
yeah,
of course.
New York, of course. There's a couple of schools. You would want to find a school that is not necessarily a big school, but at least the person that is teaching wrestling is recognized and knows what he's doing, because there's a lot of copycats that tell you, you know, you're gonna go into school. I want a certain amount of money to teach you, and then, you know, they don't really teach you. So be smart, you know, look for the right school, and
so let's say, you know, there's a young mother, you know, single mom, single dad, or even, you know, a married couple with their kids. How much do they expect to pay to put their kids in wrestling school?
It could fluctuate entre. O sea, el precio sube y baja.
Pues, ¿qué será el máximo? What would be the maximum?
El máximo que cobra una persona, por ejemplo.
Que es legítimo, ahora estamos hablando, you know, para que la gente sepa.
Legítimo, 3,000 pesos, 4,000 pesos.
$4,000?
Pero.
From wrestling school?
Yes. It sounds like a lot, but you're learning from professionals.
And so how long would you have to go? I mean, it's like a year for $4,000, or?
Some people do it in 6. Some people do it in a year. Some people.
When you say 6, you mean 6 months?
Yeah, 6 months.
Wow.
Some people could do it in 2. It depends on the person, you know, because wrestling being so hurtful to your body, people usually come in and then, you know, they quit after a little bit. That wasn't necessarily my story, because I liked it so much. But
so you like pain, bro?
Yeah, you could say I like a little bit of pain. It comes with the business.
Yo, bro, I went to Catholic school. I like pain too.
There's times, you know, I wake up in the morning and I have to go to school. I go to chef school. So
wow, okay. I want to talk about that a little bit in a minute. Yeah.
And you know, it's stressful. You know, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. But if
now, when you say a lot of work, like you got to go and do push-ups, sit-ups, like again, kid, you know, let's say parents see the show, go, okay, we want to put, you know, little Johnny or little, you know, Sabrina in la escuela de wrestling. Okay, they make the investment, and so what are the kids gonna learn? You know, pull-ups, sit-ups, throw a softball. Okay.
Yeah, well, they do. It's a lot. It's like I said, it's a lot of work. You got to do sit-ups. You got to do Hindu squats.
Hindu squats.
Hindu squats.
Hindu squats. What's that?
It's a squat, but
You got to wear like a turban?
No, it's more. It works more of your legs and your whole body.
Okay.
A regular squat just works your legs.
Got
The
you.
Hindu squat works your whole body.
Okay.
So after 500 of those, or 1,000 that I've usually done
What?
sometimes, you wake up in the morning, you don't want to get up.
I'm tired just hearing you say 500 or
Yeah,
1,000
but
squats.
you know, sometimes you could do 300, 400 sit-ups,
Wow.
200, 300
So
push-ups.
this is no joke. I mean, you got to be in shape at least. I mean,
Yes.
that's the athletic part. I mean, you do have to be in some type of shape. All right. So okay. So now you're in Puerto Rico. You do your first match. By the way, did you have a name? Did you pick a name?
Yeah, my first name, right now I'm under another character, but the character I started with is, I'd say, a person called Rage.
¿Rabio?
Yes, rabia.
Rabia, perdón, rabio is a tail in Spanish. Estamos tratando de mejorar el español aquí. Right.
Ahora mismo, well, tú sabes, yo quería ser malo. O sea, en la lucha libre tú puedes ser malo y puedes ser bueno.
Oh, you can pick what you want to be the kind of character. Puedes seleccionar el personaje.
Exactly.
Wow.
Entonces,
pero bueno, tú tienes una cara de buena gente. Why you want to be bad?
You know, it's in my blood, you know. I get better reactions if I'm playing.
Wow, okay, yeah, right, the bad guy, yeah.
You know, usually the bad guy always gets the blunt of everything that's happening. And you know, that's my personality. When I got the name Rage, you start off with the name. You know, you got to first start off.
Did you pick it or somebody gave it to you? Tú vas a hacer la rabia.
Yeah, rabia.
El rabo.
Yo estaba viendo una revista un día. Después que yo hice mi primera lucha, yo no tenía mi nombre cuando hice mi primera lucha. Luché con mi nombre.
Benjamin.
Yes, Benji.
Benji's not that, you know, you can't get mad at Benji.
Yeah,
Benji buena gente.
Yeah. So, you know, I was reading a newspaper or like a book or something.
Like a wrestling magazine, algo así?
No, just any type of book.
People
you know,
en
magazine,
español.
Yeah. and I saw this photo of war, you know, and it had the word, it said Rage real big in red letters, like in fire and all that.
Right.
So I said, you know what, that sounds like a good name.
Yeah, it is. I mean, for a wrestler.
For a wrestler and a heel, that's what we call a bad guy in wrestling. It's a heel. It calls out, you know. People hear that name and they go, you know,
Este tipo mala gente.
Yeah, he's serious, you know.
Right.
And that's how I got my name, you know, looking at a book and thinking what I wanted to do, how my personality was going to be, and, you know, I came up with the name Rage.
Wow, and so now you mentioned earlier, you know, you different personalities, diferentes personajes. So comienza con la rabia, right? I keep thinking rabio, but es la rabia. And so how long did you wrestle under that name? And this is in Puerto Rico?
Yes, this is in Puerto Rico. I wrestled under that name for about, I say, 7 or 8 years.
Wow, right, because you started out at 18.
Yes.
And now you're...
now I'm 32.
Wow, Pa, you look good, son.
So, thank you very
plastic
much.
surgery is working.
No, I haven't had the pleasure yet. I'll leave that for like when I'm like 60 or something like that.
Wow,
but,
okay.
Yeah, you know,
7, 8 years, the Rage. Let me just leave it alone as far as the Spanish there. Okay. And so you wrestled all over Puerto Rico?
Yes, I did.
All right, Pa, you ever wrestle with, you know, like somebody famous, The Rock, Hulk Hogan?
No, not that famous. I'd say I had the privilege once in Puerto Rico of having a match. We went to this place called Rincón in Puerto Rico. If you know people know about Rincón, it's un sitio donde hay muchas playas.
That's near San Juan, ¿verdad?
No, it's on the other side of San Juan.
Okay.
It's on the other side it's on the west side of Puerto Rico.
All right, so my family's from Humacao.
Okay, yeah, that's the east side of Puerto Rico. I'm talking about 3 hours away from Puerto Rico.
So it's closer to Ponce?
No.
I'm trying to get my bearings.
Well, yeah, it's a little bit closer to Ponce.
Okay.
But it's also farther away from Ponce because it's right on the point.
Mayagüez then?
Yes,
close to Mayagüez?
You got Mayagüez and then you got Rincón a little bit more on the top.
All right.
We went there. I went to wrestle for a company called UFC. UXW, something like that. United Extreme Wrestling, something I think it was something like that. And I had the privilege to see Brutus the Barber Beefcake, Greg the Hammer Valentine, Tony Atlas, Jimmy Snuka.
The Beefcake?
Yeah, yeah. Jimmy Snuka, I don't know if you ever heard of Jimmy Snuka. When he jumped off in Madison Square Garden, he jumped off the cage. He was the very first man to jump off a cage from 15 feet up in the air.
Wow. Now you say cage, that's a different type of wrestling, the death cage match?
Yes.
Because you did it in traditional.
Yes.
Tú lo hiciste en la forma tradicional.
Yes, exacto. En la lucha libre tienen diferentes formas de lucha. Tienes una lucha estándar, que es una lucha pues 1 a 1, tú sabes.
Got you.
Tienes luchas que pueden ser 3 contra 3, que es un tag team.
Right.
2 contra 2, puedes poner 8 contra 8, lo que tú quieras.
Fine, I gotta ask you, bro. You ever wrestle a midget, bro?
No. I never had.
Why is midget wrestling so popular? I mean, people really get worked up with the midgets.
Yeah, 'cause the midget's job is mostly to rev the people up,
Right.
and give them something funny to watch. 'Cause normally you see a wrestler and you think of a 6'6" dude, 300 and something pounds, and then you see a little bit. We call them midgets.
Right,
but,
enanitos, right.
You know. You see that and you automatically, you
laugh because they're cómico,
you see what is a midget doing in wrestling. But I've seen a couple of matches and very
good matches, very entertaining.
Yes, very entertaining matches.
Do they have to work out too, or do they just have to run around? Because it looks like they just run around in the ring.
They work out. They go through the same training and the same stuff any other wrestler does.
Okay.
It's basically the same everywhere you go.
Okay.
Usually in Japan and in Mexico and places like that.
Es más popular allá? Okay.
The midgets are more famous down there.
Wow.
And the cultures are different. Cultures are very different. Japanese wrestling is more of holds and flips and arm drags and stuff like that. And, in Mexico, it's more 2 out of 3 matches and also flips.
So you fight the same person 2 out of 3 times and see who wins?
Yeah, the 2 out of 3 matches, you got to win 2 times. You got 3 chances, and if you win twice,
okay, you're good.
You win the match.
But how's the money? Have you done okay?
Right now, well, like I said earlier, I'm at that stage where I'm just starting off. I'm not making the millions yet.
Okay.
But yeah, you do get paid, and there's times you get paid $25. There's time you get paid 150. There's time you
Sounds
get paid.
like comedy, bro.
Yeah, it depends on where you're at. If you go to Japan, you go to Mexico, you go to companies like that, they pay you to come in.
Okay.
They pay you $1,000, $2,000, so you could have money to pay for your hotel room, or if you're gonna stay there, they sometimes pay your plane tickets.
Okay, that helps.
It helps.
When you gotta take that out of your own pocket, you're losing money.
Yes, exactly.
So, Pa, as we wrap up, one of the things that's kind of controversial about wrestling, steroids. What's the story, Pa?
Steroids. Well, steroids came in because back in the day, you had the little wrestlers. You had people like.
When you say little, you don't mean the midgets. You mean like smaller bodies.
Smaller body wrestlers.
The build was little
the build was smaller, like a Bruno Sammartino.
Right.
He was a tougher guy. He had he had muscles and but he was small in his stature. You know what I'm saying? Like his
How tall was
height. He was. I'm 5'11", and he's got to be like 5'7", 5'6", around there.
Get out, really?
But due to his body, he looks a little bit bigger. But when wrestling started evolving, you had to be a little bit more bigger.
Wow.
And the height limit started growing a little bit more.
So
back in the day, you had people like Bruno Sammartino, you had people.
Pequeño. So la gente tomaron los esteroides para ponerse más grande.
And it's like in every sport. Baseball, you see steroids. You see steroids in football, hockey, everything. But
you?
No.
Seriously?
No. I touch wood and I never.
Good.
Nunca la haría. It doesn't. Body is something important in wrestling. You should have muscles. But I believe you should do it, hitting the gym.
Okay.
2 hours of gym time every day or once every, other day, works your body, and you could get that body without using steroids.
one more thing. You said you're going to cooking school, right? Chef school?
Yeah, yes.
How's that going, man?
Right
Because you know, I mean, so you're like the chef, the wrestler?
Yes.
Like, you wrestle an omelet, bro? Un pernil, un lechón?
Sometimes I do. You know, el cerdo se pone medio loco a veces. Hay que atacarlo. Y exacto, adormilizarlo. Y, you know, it's crazy. You know, it's crazy. It's a dream I've always done, and you just do what you got to do.
Wow.
You
and
know?
you get ready to graduate. Where are you studying?
Right now I'm studying at Culinary Academy of New York.
Okay.
It's they give you chef classes.
Right.
They give you classes to be a medical assistant and hotel
But you're
management.
doing the chef stuff.
But I'm
so,
doing
Pa, don't you have to pick a specialty like, you know, los postres, you know, una especialidad, postre o carne o, you know, antipasta? ¿Y qué tu especialidad?
Estoy especializando en cortes de carne.
Really?
You know, T-bone steak, sirloin
So
steak.
you're carnicero. You ain't a chef, bro. You're carnicero.
Yeah, I know. That's what people tell me sometimes. They say, yo, you got that butcher knife, right? I say, yeah, and it's nice and sharp, too.
Right.
You know,
a Puerto Rican with a knife, we're going to have to talk about that.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
So listen, as you wrap up, yo, let's do a little wrestling thing. Show me a little something, man.
Yeah, no
I
problem.
can, you know, handle those.
The first thing we normally teach at a wrestling school is how to stand.
Okay.
So you got to stand, you know, one feet in front, you're in your wrestling stance. This is called the collar and elbow tie-up.
Okay.
This is where we normally start off at.
All right.
This is normally where we stand at.
Okay.
And we from here, everything starts, okay? So I'm going to take your arm and I'm going to invert you, okay?
All right.
So I take your arm here. I lift it up this way.
Right.
I jump in here.
Okay.
And I take you towards the back, all right?
Hey, towards the back. It's a family show, bro.
Right there.
Oh,
Don't get too close, okay?
Okay.
All right. Come in and you're going to throw yourself back this way. No, to put your back in that way with your head and everything.
And I'm going to flip out like that?
And you flip out and you go around. There you go.
I got you, bro. It's like dancing salsa. I got you, bro.
Not too tight.
On three.
You get hit, all right?
Okay, all right.
All right, so you hold on right there.
Sleeper hold, son.
Okay.
Sleeper. Give me your money, man.
All right, then I'm going to come around, right? I'm going to do the same thing you did.
Right.
I'm going to grab you here.
Okay.
I'm going to come in, and I'm going to put you here again.
All right.
All right.
What's the sleeper hold? Can you do the sleeper hold? What does that look like? Yeah, what is that?
The sleeper hold.
Does that really put people to sleep, bro?
Yeah, yes, it does.
Yeah?
Yes, it does.
Yeah,
if you apply the pressure necessary, you will go to sleep.
Right.
Okay, I grab your hand.
Okay.
Over your hand right here. I put my hand right here around you, and I squeeze.
I feel nothing.
Okay, you don't feel nothing? You sure? Go to sleep.
Benji, and now if people want to get in touch with you, where can
right now you could find us at Gleason's Gym. It's in Brooklyn.
Okay.
The place is called Gleason's Gym. It's a boxing gym.
And right now they can ask for you, and your name now is what?
Right now my name is Benji the Clown. I'm doing a personality as a clown. I'm a face now.
I think you should go back to the rage, bro.
Yeah, I've been planning on it.
Yo, you might be better off with Benji the Chef. Benji the Clown? Anyway, but it's Benji the Clown for now.
Yes,
at Gleason's Gym.
At Gleason's Gym. You could call Gleason's Gym and ask for Johnny Rods.
Okay.
He's the guy who's dedicated to the wrestling there. It's a boxing gym, but
right. Yeah, it's famous boxing gym.
Yeah, we have our own gym.
Okay, cool.
It's at 77 Front Street in Brooklyn.
Well, we'll put the graphic up at the end of the show. Bueno, mi gente, otra vez, muchísimas gracias por, sintonizarlo. Thank you all for tuning in on Sports Salsa. Again, please send us your comments and your letters to sportsalsa@aol.com. Otra vez, queremos invitarlo a ustedes a mandar su comentario, su crítica a sportsalsa@aol.com, okay? And, yo, Benji, thank you so much for being here, bro.
Nice to meet you, man.
All right?
Anytime.
And good luck with chef school and good luck with the wrestling.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, mi gente, como siempre, un placer. My people, always a pleasure. God bless you. Sakala, Buelo loves you.
Gagne